Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Tuesday, August 10th, and starting with the S&P on the weekly chart here. And yes, as you know, we're going from wave 3 with an expanded flat for wave 4, and then moving up for wave 5 here in 5 waves of intermediate degree of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and up for 5 of 5 of 5. And as you may recall, I've been sort of wondering what would happen at the end of this particular cycle here, because it's quite a large cycle. And the first bit of evidence I can find in other markets, and it's in the commodity markets, which I thought was quite sort of interesting, and this is just a bit of a tidbit of information and not that related, but this is the Goldman Sachs commodity index here, and as you can see, it goes back to, well, 2007 high over here, and there's a good case here for an Elliott wave triangle with an A and a B and a C and a D and an E here. You could probably get an A and a B and a C wave out of here as well. It's just that the last wave here is really quite nice in terms of 3 waves. However, that's not really the point. The point is that this is a corrective move here, and this is a monthly chart as well. So this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here is the same degree of structure as this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this 5th here. So just coming back again here. So in this case, once we've had our 5 waves up there, there's a good, well, we've got an impulse wave in the opposite direction of the trend. So that means that we would have wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then we'd be moving up for wave 3 beyond that, 3, 4, 5 at that point. So anyway, that was the first little bit of sort of solid information that I've sort of come across so far. Yeah, but I'll keep working on that. So it does sort of present the first case that once this is finished here, that we could call this wave, these 5 waves up here, not wave 5 up here, but wave 1. And then coming back for wave 2. So that wave 2 would come back to, let's just have a bit of a look at this here. So if we take this low here, let's just take it to the 5,000. It could be above or below that. So that means it's likely that we would pull back into this area through here for this, and then move up again from that point, rather than having, like Robert Prechter mentioned, that this is the top of a super cycle, and we're all doomed once again at that point. And yeah, so I've just been trying to figure it out, and not to say that anybody's wrong or right, but I think it's good for the Elliott wave community to to try to figure this out, because, yeah, we're all in the same boat. Anyway, that was enough of that for the time being. Let's cruise in and see where we are. So I'm just going to go from the weekly to the daily here. Just bring this into perspective here. So we've got intermediate wave 1 and 2 here, and we're going up for intermediate wave 3, 4, and 5 to make that top. Now, with the Nasdaq, I'm tracking a count that can have this wave, this blue wave 3, sitting over here on this this sequence here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the third, or actually finished at that point, and then going into the wave 4 at that point. So I've mentioned that many times, and I'll keep mentioning it, and we'll keep figuring it out when I get there. I need to take another look at this whole structure, but for the time being, we're moving along quite nicely through here. So in terms of the structure at the moment, we've got from minor wave 4, we've got minute wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. And then we've got minuet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and we're looking for 5 waves within this structure here. As I've mentioned, we're in the third of the third of the third here, so we should see this market move along quite nicely through all of this. In regards to the trading levels from 4,000 to 5,000, which medium level here, major level here, and minor levels are in between here of 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 here. So group 1, the midpoint, and group 2. So we're approaching up to the midpoint, the 4,500. So yeah, let's go in and take a closer look at this. Let's just bring it into perspective here. So we've got wave 2 here, and we're looking for 5 waves up here. We'll need to bring that across over here as time goes on. But we've got wave 2 here, and we're looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here to make that third wave. It's just a little target area there for that. Yeah, and so we've got 1 and 2 here, and going up for wave 3, 4, and 5. And between wave 2 here and wave 3 here, we're also looking for 5. We've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 into this section. So we can open that up a little bit further. Yeah. So we've got the minor levels of 4,100, 200, 300, and 500, and then we've got our sub levels in through here as well, which is just the same. It all works in 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 Fibonacci as a price ratio. So we're looking at this length here. My yardstick is, we're looking for this wave 3 to be, well, equally as long, this wave 3 here to be equally as long as wave 1 here, or longer. So we're tracking this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we'll need to drag this across over here to be a bit realistic in this, and also too, between wave 2 here and wave 3 here, we're also looking for 5 waves as well in this case. So we'll just open that up a little bit further, and we'll go to the tick chart now to look at that. So we've got wave 1 here and 2 here, and then between this into this wave 3 over here, we're looking between 2 and 3 here. We're also looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So that's where we are within the sequence. And the trading levels here are quite important. We've got 4,400 here, and then we've got group 1. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 here. And what we're trying to do here, as you may know, this is called group 1. So 1, 2, and 3 to make up group 1. And we're trying to see if the market can find support there. So it's made a good effort so far with all this. It's had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the correction, and now it's into the next trend there. So that's just to get a bigger picture of that, this is the level here, the top of group 1. We've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the correction, and then now we're over here. So we're in the setup part of we can add to trades at this particular point. So I'm going to go from the 2-hour chart into 100 ticks, bring in a little bit more data. I think that might be enough just to get our bearings. We've got green wave 1 here, minuet wave 2 here, and then we're building up for 5 waves up for 1 here and 2 here, and then we're starting into this third wave sequence, this third wave here from wave 2 to wave 3. So let's just open that up a little bit further. So we've got 5 waves up here for wave 1 and 2 that we've been looking at, and that I've been counting up here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for this little wave 1, a little ABC for 2 here, and then heading up for this wave 3. Now I may have made a mistake in here because I've got an extra little wave in here. So this move back here may be a wave 4 rather than a wave 2, but it's not really going to it's not going to give us a problem at this stage. It's pulled back. It's a bit of a tricky one because of wave 4 pulls back 38.2, let's say 40%, and a wave 2 pulls back 61.8%, 60%, and this pullback here is pulled back 50%, so halfway between these two. So sometimes I can resolve it that way, but I need to do some more work in there to resolve that. But that will become apparent a little bit later. If you would like to add another trade, then that would be it over here, because this will be the final. This is the final testing of the 4,430, the top of subgroup 1 here. And what that does, once we get a tested support here, it severs any pull in the market depth or psychology volume, whatever you want to call it, from 400 here, and traders start to look at the number 5 up here. So that's what we're looking at, and we're on track for that. So all good with the S&P 500. So now we're going to have a look at the Nasdaq. So with the Nasdaq here, we've got, well, I still haven't resolved this either, sorry about that, but we've got wave 3 here, we've got wave 4 here, or wave 4 over here. There's a case for both. But it shouldn't bother us in the meantime, and as the market moves along, we'll be able to see it in hindsight because there will be more development. So we're cruising along here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for wave 5. So between wave 4, minute wave 4 and wave 5 here, we're looking for 5 waves. So let's move in and have a look here. So we should be able to go to maybe the 4-hour should do the trick. Yep. So as I've been mentioning, we've been snaking across the 15,000, which is a medium level. And once again, it's basically the classic trading levels pattern or variation of that. Where we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the correction, and then gaining support. So it's really just migrating from resistance to support. And that's what we look for when we trade. We trade up to these points, we get out, and then we just simply wait for support. Of course, you could refine that. You can buy pullbacks. You can do all. Doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. And yeah, that's that simple pattern. This one here really helps with that, or with the variation on that. The only other pattern that there is really this one here, where it doesn't stop at the level. So if you see a market stopping at the level and reacting here, then you know where you are. And if it doesn't stop at the level, then you'll know where you are here, and it will run out of steam and then fold back. Because the only other two things that can happen really is it can hit the level and never come back, or hit the level here and then continue all the way, just in a parabolic move and just continue all the way up and not even have a correction at a level. Some levels are numbers, they're price points, so some numbers are stronger than the others. So 5 is the second strongest number, so you can pretty much expect a correction at a number 5. 1 is the strongest, then 5, then 8, then 3, in my humble opinion. So also what we're looking at here now at the 15,000, the medium level, we've got 1, 2, and 3 here. They're minor levels, and they make up group 1. So we've got a few things just to talk about here before we go. That's the next level here will be 5. And then we can also copy again, and we'll look at 8, and then we're at 16. So from 15 to 16, it's just the Fibonacci sequence of 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, and then it's a rinse and repeat of that in different degrees of structures. So what we normally do if we're trading from one big number to another big number, then we want to be building in at the beginning of the trend, and this is what we do within group 1. So what we try to do here is we try to build in as we get more confident of the trend emerging away, and then when we get support on top of group 1, which would be number 3 here, then we know the market won't get pulled back. Once we get tested support on 300, we know the market won't be pulled back to the 15,000 at that point. The market and the psychology and all the rest of it will start to look up at the 5 at that point. So getting tested support here is critical, because when we look at a market having a correction at a large number here, and this correction is here, we look between group 1 and group 2. So I haven't got all of group 2 in, but it is the 800 here and the 1650, the 72 and 65 in here. So yeah, we're on the right track here. We can see that the market has tested nice and clean now here, right on that. Well, here it's all a little bit sort of, I mean, I understand it and it's kind of doing what it should be doing, but when you see it do this right on the, right on here and then move off, then it's telling you that we're on the on the right track at that point. So let's just move in a little further here on the hourly chart. Yesterday when we spoke, we were looking for yes, well, first of all, wave 1 here and wave 2, and then wave 1 and 2. And we're looking for 5 waves up here for 1, and we're looking for this to pull back to wave 2. So that's done that here. And now it's sort of not quite taking out the top here in that regard, but close enough to it. There will be a little pattern here that you can work. So you can go long from here now on top of this one here. This will, whoops, daisy. I can see a little 5 waves in here. So look, there may be a pullback in here before heading higher, but I think it's done that in here because I can see this is 1 and 2 here, and the third wave here, probably 4 and 5 and a pullback. But anyway, do you expect it to 61.8% pullback in here before heading higher. The only other thing I wanted to say here is that I could have this as wave 1 here, so this green wave 2 would sit here, and because there's a case here for 5 waves here. Not a very good case for 3 waves here though. Yeah, so wave 1 and 2. So we could go 1 and 2, 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 and then heading off higher at that point. Now, yeah, it's just the beginning of the trend, that's all. Nothing out of the ordinary there. So, yeah, all going well. Now, the other thing is too, once this top here gets taken out here, then we can move this stop up under this low here. So I just want to be a bit careful before I do that, in case this here is just an A wave and a B wave and a C wave and comes back and tests it and just drops through and then moves off from that point. So you can move it up higher, of course, but we just don't want to get it too close to this number, because we'll be attracting loss at that point. We'll be attracting the market to us at that point. We don't want to do that. So all going according to plan, and yeah, we also want to, once that top gets taken out, we move that stop up, well then we're diminishing our risk, and then we can build in some other positions through this space here as well. And we'll keep moving our stop up and keep managing our risk. And we don't want to create a pyramid of a higher percentage of risk. We want to reduce it or at least maintain it. Well, we want to build positions and maintain it. You can work much, much closer to the market. Once you understand this particular method, you can get much closer to the market and have a lot more orders in and still be within your risk parameters. I like to work at 1% and 0.5%. The standard out there when you read all the books is 2%, which I think still a little bit too much unless you get your win-loss ratio to a point that's acceptable. But you can have 9 losses in a row when you're trading quite easily, and that's enough to blow your account out. So alrighty, let's cruise along a little bit. Sorry to waffle on too much. And the Russell. Okay, this is just the 1 hour chart. I won't go into a lot. We've got wave 4 here with wave 1 here, and possibly this wave 2 can be over here as well for this. It's not a big deal at this point. It's all going quite well, but 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, and we're expecting it to pull back yesterday. So because we've got that nice little 5 wave move up there, don't worry about the spike too much, but then we're looking for this ABC back in the box. So that's occurred. So if you wanted to add to this position, then taking out that top there would do that there as well for that. So it's a bit of these 1s and 2s are a bit of a spring being loaded. And I mean, we're also sort of, if I'd made a mistake, which I often do, this move up here, we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up to this point. But taking the little spike there helps us. That's telling us that the market, it's almost like a little triple top, but it's all part of the same structure. So, yeah, so the fourth time, as Gann would say, would go through. Not that I'm a big Gann fan or trader, but, you know, respect. Okay, so we don't need to see that anymore. But that 2250 there, you want that as a tested support. So currently it's the resistance, and we want to see it as support. But what we really want is we want this 2,300 here, because the 300 would be the top of group 1. Once we get support on that, then the market can be pulled up to the next level, the 5. So 1, 2, 3, and 5. So support on top of group 1 here, the number 3, will set the target at 5 here, which is a medium level in this regard. So we're going to have a look at our stocks next, 6 stocks, and I probably within the next 2 weeks, I've got some new software coming in and some new screens and a few things. So I will probably put these stocks in a different video. I think it's kind of important to keep an eye on these 6 stocks. We could probably pop in Microsoft or something else as well, but it gives us a good idea of, you know, if we can see things in these stocks here, then it helps us with the indices, of course, you know. So that's the reason of doing them, and plus, you know, we can trade them here and there and so on. Okay, so with Amazon, we're looking at possibly wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. The reason I got the question mark there for is the timing of everything for this. The time the other markets finish and then this finishes for that intermediate wave 3. So I still got to resolve that, but that's okay. There's a lot I need to resolve. Even things within myself that take a lifetime and probably don't even get done anyway at that point. So this is where we're heading up here in this wave 3 of wave 5 here, and then this here. So we could be on track. We'll see how we go. Wave 1, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 2. Now I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the low. I don't know if the low's in right on that low there, or we've got a little move down first and then a move up. But knowing that problem, we can come up with a solution, and it's pretty simple. And let's roll this back here so we can see. Actually, I just might bring these across while I see them there, otherwise I won't know they're there. And we'll need them later on. So, yeah, we've got 100 ticks. You can see it up here, okay, Amazon 100 ticks, that's where you can see it. So, wave A, B, and C down here for 2, or C here for 2. So we may have the low in place here. It looks quite nice as a wave 1 up here. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go long above this high here. Well, that was our original thing, but now this has moved along a little bit further. We can get a bit cocky and go down on top of this high here for this. So that gives us a better shot at this, because this may be wave 1 here with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave finished here, and then we can just pop up straight up there. Now the risk here is that it could come up and take your order and then come back down into the 61.8% mark and then move off from that point. So if you can handle that, that's fine. You also may want to split the bets then. You may want to do half a bet here and then also look to add above here, or if it pops down here, add again at that point. So dollar cost average, so to speak. I'll leave you to decide that and how close you want to get to the market and all of those sorts of things. Okay, let's move along to the next. Okay, so Alphabet's moved off and triggered our next trade in this. I don't want to move the stop up just yet because I can count this down as an ABC, but I can see visually it also looks like an impulse wave. So I'll just be a little bit careful. I think we're okay, and I don't want to move the stop too close just yet. Like I mentioned before, if this is not wave 1 and 2 here, then it will be wave 3 top here, and then we'll have to put wave 4 over here. But I'm just wondering if 4 gets a little bit uglier and comes back across over here. So there's a few little things here. We've got a couple of trades in here. We've covered our costs on those, so that's okay. I don't want to get stopped out because I know the market's bullish and we want to end up at the 3,000 here. That's our target area here. Currently we're in group 2. So when we're moving up here, we go 100, 200, 300, and then 5, and then we go to 8, which is here. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2. In this case, it will be 2,650. I just call it a 65 number, and 72. Now, there's a lot of other numbers within this space. When a market is taking its time like this, in a space like this, then the other numbers are important. So 700 is important, and then group 1 above 700 is important, 50 is important, 80 is important. So this is minor level stuff. So there's sub levels in here and micro levels in here. So you can take it further, but yeah, in this case, don't need to. We're on track here for that. And next is Apple. I won't spend any time on Apple wave force here. We're looking, it's just being really sluggish. We're expecting it. We've got the arrival and the reaction, and now we're looking for the first high above the level, and then another correction, and then over here. So it's the classic trading levels pattern unfolding here because we've got the arrival, the reaction, and we're kind of in the beginnings of this first high above the level here. We don't normally trade this move up through here. We normally wait for it to come back and over this side because we don't want to get caught out. Normally we just trade to this point here, get out and get in back over here or over here and build in. These stocks haven't moved much, so I don't need to do much. This is square here. Still a bit of volatility in the daily bars, which is fantastic. So it tells me that we're in minute wave 1 and 2 here. We're in 3 here, so we're in really the third of the third here. So it's giving us all the right price action here, but it's not really gaining a lot of ground, I must say. I mean, it's obviously got to get through these old highs here. It's got to sort out all of that, and that's why it's vibrating there for the time being at number 8. So yeah, I don't really see it being that powerful, but it will just keep continuing in here. These will be a series of 1s and 2s in here once again. But yeah, we've got a position below the level, above the level. We'll take a percentage here. We'll probably try to build back in on it as well. We'll see how it all looks. We should end up, from 330 to 350 at minimum with all of this. But we'll just, based on this being the length of wave 1 here, we want to see, wave 3 be a decent length as well within all of this. So anyway, just nothing to do there. Go back to sleep and make money. And Facebook here, we're looking at wave 4 here, then wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. There is the possibility that we could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and have a top in here. Doesn't feel right. Technically it's okay. So let's just go in and have a closer look at this here. Obviously, yeah, we can see the levels there. What's going on? It's not a problem. Let's go to the tick chart. Do I need to bring any data in? No, it's all good. So on 100 ticks, and yeah, so we've got wave 1 here with wave 2 in the box here at the 61.8%. And we've been looking at this as 1 and 2 and nice 5 waves up here for wave 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here. Looking back for 2, it can pull back into this box. The only other mistake that I can see that I made here is that I can use this low here as 1 and 2 here and be a 3, 4, 5 in here. I've got this extra little wave in here that's a little bit of a concern, and what that may do, that may play out at I'm not going to worry about that spike. So this will be an A and a B and a C wave over here. So this may also be a wave 4 here, and we haven't come to our wave 5 of 1 yet. You know what I mean? because of that little extra move in here. I'll see how we go. I don't think it's a big deal, and I'm keeping the stop out of the way, so we're monitoring it. We're at the midpoint here, 50, and we're just entering group 2. So group 2 is 65, 72, and 80. Once we get into group 2, once we get support, once it's got a tested support, also a classic trading levels pattern here, once we get support on 65, then we don't have to worry about it coming back down here at that point. But we're not there yet, so we'll just chill on this. But all things being equal, we can be looking up at 400 here. These all just get moved in the night when I close the platform, but, you know, this is where we're heading. So, yeah, we'll just hang in there. We can build a trade. Once we get support here, we can also get a position here and get a position on the 72, and well, I will see how we're looking up at that point. So all good for Facebook, and Tesla is good. It's moved up a little bit here. So as you know, with Tesla, I've got a bearish count and a bullish count. The bearish count is obviously coming to the box here around the 750. We're at the 50% retracement level at the moment, and can move up a little bit higher here. So, yeah, I can look at wave 4, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4 here, and then just continue all the way up to $1,000, or we come down here for wave 4 here from the box. I don't know at this stage. There's a good case for both of them. I've got a position in here myself. I'll probably get out at 750 or something like that and move into another stock with this, and then I'll move back in again once I can see that, because the 800 will be the line in the sand for this being bullish or not, because we'll come up, may not even get to the top, but we'll get there somewhere, and we'll see a pattern like this here. So if we see a pattern like this here, then we'll start buying here, over here, and all through here, and then we'll trade up to 1,000 and get out at that point. But otherwise we will fade at that point and come down. So I think the 750 is a nice place. You may be able to push it to 772 or 780 or something like that. We'll see on the intraday. It's we were looking for this to pull back here, so we're looking for that push up here now for that. So 740, 750, anywhere in this box would be fine for that. We may get right up a bit higher, but yeah, we'll look at the intraday shortly on that. But that's the story here. Yeah, you may have an opinion of it being bearish and bullish, but I can't figure it out just yet. I mean, not good enough to tell people to buy and sell. Do you know what I mean? Like, an opinion isn't, you know, it's easy for an analyst to give an opinion about something, but most of the time they don't have money in it themselves, you know. So I like to have money in it, but I can't have money in everything, of course. But yeah, anyway, that's my plan for that. So probably around the 750, unless I can see something different at that point. And that's just Bitcoin, so we don't need to do that. So that's that. Thanks very much. Cheers.